Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about the new palette from Gourmande Girls. This one is called Apparition. I like the idea of this a lot. Spring but spooky, spring but bring in a little bit of darks instead of entirely pastels. I love it. I love it. I was not super impressed by the palette art. I don't mind like clearly not drawn by somebody who's super practiced. I'm not trying to be mean. Like there is a place for not necessarily super professional artists in the indie sphere, I think, because it is little independent businesses. Everybody's trying to afford what they can afford, you know, and if we can't afford to hire a super practiced professional artist, I get it. It's just, for me personally, I really enjoy a different aesthetic, and this one is a little not quite up my alley. However, when you open the palette, it almost makes everything all better, because this color story is one of my favorites that I've had in a long time. As I said, like, I adore the whole idea of pastel, but make it interesting. And that's really what they did with this. There's quite a few really fun springy pastels. Like, we have a light pink, this pretty light teal, this kind of rosy color, this yellow, it's like a butter yellow, pretty green, lots of them. But then we also get into these, like, okay, well, let's put some of these little bit dustier shades in there, or let's put some real dark shades in there. Or this one, real fun, like just a super bold, dark purple blue. So pretty. Now, I did 2 looks with this palette to sort of test it out. The look that I did today, I went ahead and used this dusty pink, not dusty pink, kind of a medium colored pink Presence. And I put that on the inner, like, third of my eyelid, and also towards the inner corner there. And it's a little bit darker than this one, but I kind of like how it turned out. It's also a little bit bolder. This one I feel like almost wouldn't even show up on my skin, but this one you can see the pink a little bit right there in the corners. I then used this shimmer Manifest on like the first third of the eye. It turned out a little more of like a yellow green than I thought that it would. It almost looks gold on my lids. I was hoping for this bright springy green, but maybe it's just reflecting differently because of the pink that I have under it. On the outer third, I used this color, Plutonian Shore. What a cool shade name, by the way. I put that in the outer third and kind of blended it up a little bit. You can sort of see it there. And then over that, I used this super shifty blue purple, the Crypt. And I love that shade so much. And the way that it blended into Manifest, it almost looks like 3 shades on the lid, which was really interesting to me, how it sort of turned a neutral color in the in-between space. This dark shade Plutonian Shore, I also put under my eye, and also the Presence Rose shade I kind of put under that side to give some color under the eye as well. And that's really all I did for that look. It wasn't too complex, but I feel like it turned out really cool. The other look that I did, I also wanted to use some springiness. So I put this color Lantern Light, the buttery yellow, kind of on the inner third, and then a little bit into the middle. And then I used Ancestral Plot as the dark matte kind of towards the outside. And then I used this color Seraphim kind of all over the lid. And this was a really interesting purple. It's almost like I guess a dustier kind of purple, like a little more muted, definitely more so than Crypt. Like, it's really not as in your face. And then I used this shade Immortelle as just a tiny little inner corner dot. And that one ended up looking sort of like a greenish silverish color, and that was really pretty. I only took from one little bit, so it's possible that once you mix it, it'll have a different kind of color. So I'm interested to swatch it more thoroughly and see what it looks like. I can say from using it that this palette has A couple of the shades whose formula I don't prefer because it's just so flaky and so opaque. It can be a little hard to work with. The Crypt was that kind of a shade, and Seraphim was that kind of a shade. And I'm suspecting that Opaline and Immortelle might be as well. We're going to swatch it and see. But Manifest was not. Manifest was a really easy for me to work with shimmer. Okay, so let's go ahead and swatch these 5 shimmers and see what they look like. I'm going to start with Immortelle down here. That's really interesting because it does kind of have all of those shades in it, but primarily I'm getting a green and pink shift with maybe a hint of gold in there. It's really pretty. Okay, now I'm going to swatch Seraphim. Yeah, this I think is one of those shades. It's like almost not sticking as well as I want it to. It just kind of goes all over the place. I think I maybe need to start using glitter glue with these shades and see how that works out for me. Because it is super pretty. Like I said, it's just a slightly more muted purple. I think it's that black base that gives it a more muted character. But it is super shiny in the light. Okay, next is the Crypt. Yeah, this one is so flaky. Wow. Oh my goodness. And you can see it's doing that same thing where it's like it's so opaque, but at the same time, it's just kind of flaking and getting all over the place. There we go. That's a pretty good swatch. So it's got like a rosy base, and then you see the purple and that super pretty blue flash. Okay, next is the green Manifest. We'll see if this turns out more green or more gold. Yeah, I feel like it's a little more green than it is on the eyes, but you can see what I'm talking about. It's a very gold green. I would almost go so far as to call it a gold that has just a hint of green to it. And lastly, we'll do Opaline. Yeah, this is definitely that flakier formula. Ooh, pretty though. I love that color. It's like, it's not quite a gold. It's almost like a copper, but like a little bit golder than a copper. But then it has that pink flash to it that really makes it seem like a rose gold. I really like that pink flash. That's pretty. So all in all, I really love the color story of this palette. The mattes, which I don't know if I talked about yet, those performed really well, on par with most Gourmande Girls palettes. Really good. The only thing I had a problem with was those really, really flaky shimmers. And that's probably just me and my preferences. If you really prefer those flaky shimmers, then you're gonna love this palette because 4 out of 5, super, super flaky. I am gonna get some glitter glue and try that because maybe that will improve my experience with the Gourmande Girls shimmers because I want to love this. The color story is so beautiful. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have any thoughts about the Gourmande Girls new palette, please do tell me down in the comments below. Or if you want to talk anything makeup or nails at all, I am here. Thank you all, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.